Forgiveness is definitely a theme that runs true through the show. Love, um, and love not just in the sense of how we romanticize it, in the sense of just between one person and another person, um, but self love as well. Self love, self care. It deals with classism as well. If I pick a third, and then of course there's other themes that ring true. But I would say between classism, love, between self love, unrequited love, and love towards others, and then ultimately forgiveness, forgiveness and hope. Yeah, so Intimate Apparel is a story that follows the story of a black seamstress in the early 1900s. It's exciting because we get to see this story center around her life, the people who she interact with through the things that she makes, the clothing that she makes. And it's really interesting when she receives a letter from a man working on the Panama Canal. And in that letter, he shows interest in her, and she's not yet married. And she takes that leap and she says, you know what? I'm going for it. So we get to see what that remarkable journey looks like. It's really exciting to watch that beautiful story unfold. Oh my gosh, excited. It doesn't sum up any expression of how I feel right now. This cast is dynamic. They bring so much heart to these characters, and the story, the way that we're able to tell it in an exciting way by utilizing some of the modern theatrical elements that we have, such as the revolve, such as the lift. We have a second level, and we're just really engaging the entire space of the Margison. And as you know, it's a thrust theater, and you're able to really become more immersive and make a large space feel intimate. So it's really exciting to bring Nottage's work to Orlando Shakes and in such a powerful way with a dynamic group of actors that I couldn't be more excited to be working with. So Adam Biner. He's playing Marx. Marx is a Romanian Jewish seller of fabrics, and he lives in a small tenement apartment. What's really fun to watch is fun and also I won't say heartbreaking, but heart wrenching to watch is the relationship between Mr. Marx and Esther. As that unfolds, the many things that are said and unsaid, and their attraction to both the fabrics and, dare I say, one another. Trenell, such a joy. She plays Mrs. Dixon. Mrs. Dixon, she's a bit of the mother hen of the rooming house. So she looks out for all of her girls, but in particular, she looks out for Esther in a way that is, it's heartwarming. Definitely going to make you laugh, but also in a very nurturing way. So, brilliant actress. Martine plays the body. Miss Mamie. Miss Mamie. She has these dreams of being a concert pianist, and the reality of what she lives is that she's in a saloon, and she works in that saloon as a prostitute in that saloon. And, in that, she doesn't take any shame. She has ownership of who she is, but she does still long and have hope for something else, for a better future. So it's really, it's a really touching journey to watch Martine in the role. It's really, really exciting. Laurel. Laurel, she's our Mrs. Van Buren. Mrs. Van Buren is a lady of high class, New York high society, but she's from the South, and she's a bit out of place, and she feels out of touch, but not just um, as far as locale, but she feels out of touch with the people around her in her inner circle. She finds a connection with Esther, and um, it's really gratifying to see that unfold in so many ways. To see the deeper levels, to really see how not just, of course, Laurel being the brilliant actor that she is, but also watching Mrs. Van Buren begin to shed a lot of the masking that she puts on to show a more vulnerable side. And that's what really brings in the heart of Mrs. Van Buren. Lillian, oh my gosh, our Esther, uh, fearless, um, strong, vulnerable actor. Um, so exciting to watch, beginning to the end. Such a brilliant actor. Her as Esther, she's just she brings the light and so much warmth to the character, and that was really really important. Esther makes fabrics, and she connects. She has a connection with each of these, or she makes garments. Excuse me, intimate apparel, and these fabrics connects her to the many characters. That she comes in contact with in the play, and it was really important for me to the sense of warmth, the sense of sunshine, because that goes back to conceptually a thing that was really important to me was honoring my grandmother. So she really portrays that beautifully, remarkably, and it's heartfelt, it's passionate. It's so exciting to watch her on stage. Chris, George, everyone's favorite character. And of course, I say that with, yeah, jokingly, because we do fall in love with George, in the first act. And he's romantic. He's this, swashbuckling, man from overseas who was stealing the hearts of many. And then when he makes it to America, he notices just a different life with Esther, and Chris portrays that remarkably, seeing the differentiation between Act One and Act Two, the two versions of George and his the amount of passion that he brings to the role is just it's thrilling. Yeah, so I when I first was uh, came in contact with the play, I read that Lynn Nottage that she found a photograph of her great grandmother in the attic, and she from there was curious about what her story was. What was the story of her great grandmother, and there became research, and she wrote Intimate Apparel. Um, Through reading the play, I found so many connections that made me think of my own grandmother after recently losing her this past year, and mentionings of warmth, of light, and we nicknamed my grandmother Sunshine. And in that became the central metaphor of sunshine, and we that informed a lot of our design choices creatively, and just it grew from there. But it was really important to me to um, have that connection that was personal to the piece, um, to have more of a sensibility and relatability to the characters, to the story that is central and revolves around Esther, very much like her son. Every day, I'm so grateful to go to the theater to be able to create art with these amazing other collaborators in that sense, other actors, and the design team. We've all put so much heart and spirit into this production, so it's definitely not just here's another show at all. There's personal connections, and each of the actors have also shared things, actors and creative team, where they have personal connections too. And all of that has been a collaborative effort. And in turn, we've created something that's ours, that's filled with life, with spirit, and with so much heart. And we just can't wait to share that with the rest of the community. Well, thinking about the show, I think that when we create art, ultimately it is to have conversation, to have people to analyze, their own lives, society, and certain questions. And I think that what people will realize, and what I would hope they walk away with and identify with, are the characters in the show, and how there's so many things that in today's world that we are having a reckoning on race, reckoning on classism, and the shows it shows these characters that um, they have these trappings. They have their dreams. They have what they hope to be, but there's so many trappings. The trappings of what society tells them they're supposed to be in terms of racism and their race. Being a black woman, how high are you allowed to climb? Classism, the difference between Mrs. Van Buren to Esther, and just in general terms of what do you want for yourself? And that we see that with Esther, where society tells her she should be married at 35 and have kids, but that's not her dream. So she does that, and we get to see in the end her find self love and find her own journey, and I believe she defines her own path, and that's what we don't get to see. If there were an Act Three, that's what Act Three would be: is Esther defining her own path and moving forward. But I think that's so important for all of us to come to terms with is what do we want for ourselves, and accepting that that actually is a better life, a life that brings you joy, brings you peace, and purpose.